arm wrestling, we can discuss, about arm wrestling. It's fun,
Without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Neil Pickup, the fat lad here with you in the mother fluffing house. And it's nothing really scripted, this. I'm just chilling out with Engin. And we're going to be talking about all things arm wrestling, son. That's what it's about. Mate, welcome back to the show, Engin Terzi. Yeah, for those of you who are following our last take in this particular instance, guys, I said we were just going to get into some of the posts that Engin's been putting on his page. If you've not been over and visited Engin's page, Engin, just give them the lowdown on where they can find your stuff, mate, on Facebook.
I don't even really follow. You mean the YouTube?
Your page, your training page. So the Engin page.
Oh, the arm wrestling in Facebook?
Mm-hmm. That's the puppy.
Yeah. Arm wrestling, but I'm not that active. Facebook banned me for 30 days. I cannot post, share anything there for 30 days.
It's all coming out now. You get the exclusives right here on the Supernatural Strength Channel. All that. There's a story there. We'll get it when we go off. But yeah, Engin.
I'm not going to tell the reason.
No, fuck that. Leave that. It's not. No, leave it. It could be anything. We don't need to know. We'll leave that.
Yeah.
But the last post that I saw on there, where you were doing your top fives. So it was the top fives of Engin Terzi.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with the big one, mate. Start with the big one, the super heavyweights. So, for those of you who haven't seen this, on Engin's page on Facebook, he put out a poll.
It was on Instagram.
Yeah, was it on Instagram? Okay,
Instagram.
I thought it was on Facebook. I'm getting old, mate. I'm losing it. So we had John Brzenk of 2006, I believe, was you specified. Yeah. We had Gary Goodridge of the mid-90s. So it's the Yukon Jack 95-96 version of Gary Goodridge, bad man. It's Denis Plenkov. It's Andrei Pushka. And it's a 1980s, late 80s version, mid-80s to late 80s version of Richard Lutkus. I think those are the five, weren't they, mate? Yeah. Now then, you want to just tell the sort of context of the question, what you were trying to get from this?
I mean, I see that, everyone is making, their all-time lists, even the people who have not been through all those times, all those years. And then I thought that, maybe I would share, what I also think about the best guys. And then before I wanted to share that, I asked the opinions of the friends. Of course, I was going to make my own final decision, but it's always good to hear from the knowledgeable people, their perspective, So that is why I asked Charlie Minel, Eric Rusin, and yourself, Niazi, and Haidar. I talked with them, and I think I asked Charlie only if Devon was better or Gary was better. Devon of 2008, 2007, 2008, or Gary of the mid 90s. But I asked you the same question. You told me that in a super match format, you would think that it's Devon is better, but in a main draw tournament, Gary would be the better one. And then I asked Haidar and Niazi. With Eric also, it started with this question, because that was the only part that I wasn't sure about. And then it just continued. And I will start to discuss, I and Eric, Niazi, Haidar, I asked their opinion. And then I realized that in fact, after I talked, the Richard Lutkus probably was either the very best one or the second best one ever, in that a few years of shape that he was in,
I tend to be of the opinion there that obviously we've got to have that, and I know you agree with this in many ways. We've got to have a separation here between best arm wrestler, so all things arm wrestling, and most effective arm wrestler at any given time in their career. And I think that's just important to specify. That's what we're looking at here. This wasn't about who's the best arm wrestler, because I think we can all pretty much agree that John Brzenk is probably pretty unequivocally the best arm wrestler of all time. And by what we mean by arm wrestler is completeness, well-roundedness as a package of arm wrestling ability, talent, and so on. But the fact that John, and I think it's fair to say that that claim of a universal perception is probably best evidenced and underlined by the fact that the guy is even in the conversation about being the most effective arm wrestler at any point in time, because he's not a big man. He's not. He hasn't got the natural physical attributes. He's not got the frame, the size, the scale.
He's not a super heavyweight.
No, he's not really a super heavyweight at all. John had to bulk up to that. His walk around weight, if he just let himself go back in the day, would have been anywhere from 90 to 100 kilos. You know, he wasn't. He's not a big man. Obviously, you put on a little bit of weight as you get older. But John, 95 kilos, is in pretty good walk around shape. You know, and yet you're talking about him competing with 300 pounders here. Very, very big men. From what I've seen, I think Richard Lupkus, speaking to a lot of people who claim to have been involved in the sport at that time, speaking to the athletes themselves, a lot of them are on this list that had experience with Lupkus at that time, particularly Goodridge and John. It sounds like Richard was phenomenal at his absolute peak. He attained a level of effectiveness in a one-on-one, low-volume level of competition. So I'm talking over 1-2 pins, where he would have been extremely difficult to overcome. And you can see evidence of that where he's competing against Gary, who was mega. At any point in his career, was mega.
But late 80s Gary and mid 90s Gary, not exactly the same story.
No, I agree entirely, but he would need to be not exactly the same story, because when he met Richard at that time, he was run over. It wasn't a match. It was just.
I saw one of them that he stopped him with the back pressure here. Richard was like stopped with the hand. And I'm just thinking, if you put the mid 90s Gary there, like, could have been, possible that, take his wrist or something. I don't know.
Interesting. I think the thing to focus on there as well is the other thing that sort of gives you an indication of what level Richard was at was when Richard took an absence of years from the sport, then he came back in his 50s.
Yes.
And he's still right there. And
with Dennis, even.
With Dennis.
Yeah, imagine that, Richard, that, his 30s, late 80s, pulling Dennis. I don't want anyone to get upset with me, but Richard would defeat him badly. This is what I believe. Because like Dave Chaffee is very strong guy, and he is head to head with Dennis every time they pull. Even the first time he beat him. Even they pulled in 2015, I think the Russian A1 it was. They were head to head, and I am sure that Richard was a stronger man than Dave Chaffee, and he was doing more to do sideway or even shoulder pressure. And I think that I have no doubt that Richard of late 80s would defeat the best of Dennis. I have no doubt. But what bothers me that those young guys, whenever they start making an all-time list, they are thinking, that the past guys were just like very weak guys, They were just probably thinking that, only just because they born 30 years earlier, they are thinking that those guys were just like, soft guys, weak guys or something, without realizing that those. Have you ever seen the numbers that, Gary was lifting?
Oh, yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Just let one of those best guys of today to lift those guys, those weights. He was incredible. He was doing one-arm pull-ups. Let one of the guys try to do that.
At that size and weight, unbelievably powerful man. The other thing is, the guy that's not been brought up in this conversation yet, but Cleve Dean.
Yeah.
Mate, same situation. Speaking to Richard Lupkus, speaking to Burt Whitfield back in the day, speaking to a lot of the guys who've had that personal experience of these guys, even John, he said there was a period of time where Cleve Dean was pretty much invincible. He was just ridiculous.
When was it, Neil? When was it? When exactly it was?
I'd have to check back, mate, and tell me when. I'll check back with those guys and get an indication on timeline where they feel his best his absolute peak was. Because the thing with Cleve, he was so massive that he became immobile to a degree and had other health concerns and issues. But you're talking about a guy who was close to 7 feet tall, 500 pounds, just an absolute bigger than that, I believe. Actually, I think somebody told me 600. Yeah. Massive guy. Now, I've arm wrestled a lot of dudes, big men, small men. I gripped up with Cleve Dean on a practice table, and I'm going to say it was almost physically impossible for me to arm wrestle him because it was just too big. You couldn't. I mean, your hand was like that. It was just. It was massive. It was ridiculous, and it just.
I mean, he's around there. He's around there. Maybe top 5, maybe 8, 7, but for sure in 10, I would be in top 10.
It's like the older, greatest boxer of all time, greatest anything of all time. A lot of these, they're always going to remain unanswered questions.
Yes. But we have just opinion we have.
But what I liked about the list that you put together there and the inclusions within it was that there's a lot of crossover evidence where you can sort of make a chain, and try and that I found that interesting anyway. I mean, I like the comparisons between Andrei Pushka at his absolute peak and Lupkas.
Yeah.
There are some commonality. There's some common facts there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They both have a strong grip and not incredible hand control from either side, but not so much wrist, but just like back pressure and the hit, And I thought that Pushkar would probably take Richard's hand, but whenever I talk with you with other guys, I realized that remember the time that Pushkar took Trubin's wrist, and then Trubin decided to put his shoulder behind and did with the dead wrist. Pushkar couldn't pin him, and I think, as far as I remember, lost on fouls. He couldn't pin him, and I'm just thinking, a prime Richard, even if his wrist was taken and putting that shoulder behind, and Pushkar, incredible start, very powerful start, but once that hit is stopped, not incredibly effective during the war. You understand, yeah? Yeah,
100%, mate. I actually do think Richard's faster.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that,
Explosive.
So that is why I wasn't sure. I was sure, Dennis always beat Pushkar. Maybe 1 or 2 exception with some circumstances, I don't know. But Dennis, while beating Pushkar 50 times, cannot be ranked under Pushkar. You pulling a guy 52 times and beating him 50 times and being ranked under, just nonsense, And then whenever I know for sure that, Dennis 2011 hardly beating Lupkas, then I'm just sure that Lupkas or late 80s would beat Dennis.
I am also.
So whenever even I am confused about Pushkar versus Lupkas, then it still makes it automatically, if Dennis is about Pushkar and Lupkas is about Dennis for sure, then even if I see them like not sure, then I need to rank Lupkas over Dennis. So then my opinion would be first is either John or Lupkas. About John, I'm just thinking 2006 John somehow would topple Lupkas and stop him. He would have enough horsepower to stop the match, and he would know how to finish him. This is my opinion. In your opinion, and in opinion of Haidar, Lupkas should be the number 1. He also thinks that Lupkas would also beat John. Yeah. And my opinion, slightly John is number 1, and Lupkas is second, and the Dennis is third, and the Pushkar is fourth, and the Gary Goodrich is the 5th. But if we go like 6 rounds format,
that changes things. Then
I don't
chances
see.
Are better.
Yeah, but I won't see like 2007, 2008 Devon. See, you would know that good because you were there, all those years. And if I ask this to Devon, if I ask this to John, the question is about them. They may not be objective. They will think from their side, most likely. But you are close friend with John, close friend with Devon. And then whenever you think, oh, like my opinion, 2006 John would beat Devon in a tournament, Devon of 2007 or 8. Whenever I think that the first round wasn't so easy, after first round everything changes, right? And but whenever I put them in a super match, then I kind of hardly see John winning against Devon
Mm.
more than 3 times.
Yes.
The best could be like 3-3. The best for John would be. I don't see him beating Devon 4 times.
Yeah, not that Devon. Devon had a period of time, 2008, 2007, end of
Yeah.
2007, when he pulled Ron Bath. I think that was his absolute peak. I think when he pulled Ron Bath at Manchester, right up to the time when he pulled John. Michael Todd said it on here a number of times. Marcio said it on here a number of times, and I'm going to say it again. That night in the hotel was more evidence than I've ever seen of where Devon's level was at that time. Much more impressive than the win itself, even though that he, the fact that he beat John.
He beat all of them one after another.
For at least 15 to 20 minutes, maybe longer. And it wasn't just that he beat them, he took the piss. It was Michael Todd, Johan Lindholm, Marcio Barboza, me, Andy Barker, Peter Sherber, Stuart Hall, Mariusz Gruszowski, one after another, and Gary Rickett, one after another, after another, after another, after another, letting every single one of them jump on his ass, like anywhere they wanted. And it got to the point where John was going, okay, well, again, like, wait a minute, no, that's not right, again. And John would dive on him, couldn't do shit. And Devon was just...
So probably I wasn't wrong about when I said that, in a six rounds format, it would be very hard to beat him on those years.
Myself and Michael Todd were talking about it, and Marcio actually, that night. Myself, Mike, and Marcio were at the bar going, are we going to talk about the white elephant in the room? Like, what was that about? And all of them, Marcio Barboza's been around arm wrestling for a long, long time, knows it well. You speak to Marcio about what he did that night. It was ridiculous. It was just like a different planet. Ron Bath in 2007, when he pulled Devon at the Trafford Centre, when have you ever seen Ron Bath, like the second round of the match in the setup, Ron Bath jumped down off the stage, came and sat at the side of me at the table where I was announcing the matches and said, well, you might as well jump up there and arm wrestle that guy yourself, mate, because you'd have a good chance of that. That is what I'm telling you. You asked Ron, that's what he did. He jumped off the stage, came down to where he sat right at the side of me in the match.
Yeah.
Just lost the second round. And he said, you might as well jump up there and arm wrestle him yourself because you'd have as good a chance as I've got beating him. I can't do anything. What do you want me to do? That's what he said. Ron Bath.
So let's give Devon what he deserves, No need to just, that shape of Devon in at least in a super match format, 6 rounds. I think he was the best ever. That is what I also mentioned on my page.
He certainly. When I said to you the other day, it's very hard for me to envisage that because of who Devon is and what Devon has, leverage-wise, that's why I gave him the name No Limits. It's as simple as that. There was nothing that he couldn't really deal with. Now, why I liked that version of him so much more is because he was quicker, more aggressive. I've talked to Devon about this a lot. He was much more attacking. Just watch. Even Devon might do that. Just watch his matches.
Yeah.
You really go out there, watch. Even Devon himself, he goes out, I've said to him, just watch you arm wrestle then, and watch you arm wrestle now. We're a totally different guy.
Yes. I think he has. I think he has some. I think he did overtraining. Years and years and years and years. Too much table, and then, the fact. I also talk with him. He just all the time is. Having all the pressure now on him again. He needs to a little bit. Just put them to out of position because he's this way of pulling. He's putting like a lot of miles on his arms.
Well,
He's having all the time.
circumstances breed it, doesn't it? I mean, let's be honest here, okay? If you go out in the woods one day and you get into a frigging gunfight, okay? The
Mhm.
first 20 minutes of that gunfight, you're going to be really scared of getting hit by a bullet. But let's say a couple of bullets hit you and it does nothing. After half an hour, you're not scared. You're walking through the forest like it's any other day because you know bullets don't hurt you. Well, Devon had a situation where he went from being human, touchable,
Mhm.
reachable, to suddenly being invincible of anybody he knew, of anybody he encountered anywhere ever. Situations like the one I've just described in the hotel, where you've got all those guys jumping all over you and it doesn't do anything. So your whole format, your whole way of being, way of training, way of progressing is, okay, I'll just do nothing, let you initiate, let you jump all over me, and then I'll arm wrestle from there. And over a set period of time, that shapes a man. It creates a certain type of athlete who's immensely strong in that defensive position. Now we see him as a king's mover. He is a million miles away from the guy that started out, that aggressive, attacking, hunting arm wrestler. He always had
But
the capability to counter.
yes, but at that time, when the guys are, hitting him, he was holding like this. Now you see him all the time,
Hmm.
and he's turning this way, and he getting all the time pressure on his arm. He just, I don't think that where he is now is like anywhere close to his best shape. When we judge about the quality, when we judge about the power and everything, effectiveness. That Devon was much better arm master than the Devon of
Well,
today. This is what I'm
I
thinking.
do. It does make me smile a little bit. Okay, when I read comments from guys who aren't maybe as familiar with Devon's history, Devon's true capabilities, and what he's like to arm wrestle, and they
Mhm.
don't put him in the conversation for a guy who can be at that level. Because the funny thing is, a lot of those capabilities haven't gone away or died or can't be recovered. It's not that it's just it's tweaks, it's
Not not
changes.
not not in the way that he is continuing. I don't think that he's gonna recover anything. Even when he pulled Tatachings, just do you imagine Tatachings or today is putting Devon or 2007 or 2008 to those positions. I
No,
mean,
no chance.
his arm was. I mean, to me, I don't. Devon is a great guy, the best ambassador, one of the best, greatest arm masters ever. But
Yeah, he
to
really is.
me, I mean, of course, I don't disrespect Wal either, but to me, Todd Hutchings was the better man in that. My own judgment. If it was like a WAF table or something, it was already pinned. Just his
See,
arm is almost
I
straight.
disagree with that, mate. I don't think for 1 minute Todd was the better guy. I don't even think Todd would say that himself, if I'm honest. And
I don't know.
I
I
love
don't care
both
about
men.
what
I think
Todd
you
thinks.
want to both
I have
hate.
my own judgments. I
Yeah,
have I have my own judgment.
but you think
That
he would have won that match?
was that.
You think if that pin had have happened, he would have won that match? So had the pin been given, he would have then beaten.
No, I'm just saying that if the match the hit comes there in a second and then it's pin, then the second round starts the same thing. But whenever you continue things, like to stay there 35, 40 seconds, and the guy is just tiring himself. Of course, the next round he will be getting less effective and less effective and less effective. That's not what I'm just saying. What I'm just saying, I mean, like I also read the comments, that when like some of the people says that they understand they want to pull Dave Chaffee in that way because he's bigger man in this, but even to Todd, to pull that way, they didn't think that it would be how to say like Devon should be winning more how to say more clearly. You
Orthodox.
understand?
Yeah, like an
Yeah,
orthodox style.
yeah,
And everybody, I think
yeah.
everybody would love to see it. But if you're Devon, you're going to go to the easiest, safest route. It's almost like, it's like if I can stay out of your reach and still hit you, why would I come in and trade? And for
I,
Devon,
I
he
I
knows
will just say that
it's an
touching spool Rob Vision, touching spool Rob Vision. I mean, even there, Todd hardly. Now, when I say hardly, Todd won against Rob Vision, but he was like more like again like this, you understand? Instead of, like like when you compare, like Todd is hitting and Devon is suddenly like opening like all the way, this. I will tell you about this. People misunderstand me. Like, in my opinion, like when your arm is stretched to do like all this 360 uh, degree angle, and I don't think that, I mean, you are winner in that match. The guy is open. The only reason that your hand is not touching to the pin pad, it's because your shoulder is below the table. And then when you lower yourself and press yourself under, you are also applying a pressure to guy's hand, not because of the muscle, but because of you're using your either humerus bone or the elbow bone as a lever, and then more you lower yourself, more the pressure is applied here. But it is not because of any power, any strength or something. It is because you hang in there, and the other side is just putting pressure, and the guy is losing his hand. It has. I don't think that it has anything to do with the power. And as long as you don't break the guy's arm, or you hurt him so badly that he will have to jump up. That's what happens sometimes when Michael goes down there. He jumps up and then he loses the match. Not while he's on the table. While he's on the table, there is no way the hand can touch to the pin pad. You need to break the arm, or you're gonna hurt him so badly that he will give up at the end. So I listen. I respect your opinion, and this is my opinion. I don't want to argue with anyone, but I don't find this as a fair thing to do.
Yeah, you're not a fan of the King's move. I'm not. I'm not an aesthetic fan of the King's move.
I don't find it's not about the like or something. It's unfair. It's unfair. It's like same as like your shoulder is passing the center of the table. You coming even to do like the other guys, elbow pad, with your shoulder. They tell you to pull your shoulder back if it passes the center. This is the same thing needs to be happen with when the shoulder goes under. It needs to be up. If it passes here, it's foul. If it passes down, it should be a foul. You, as I said, you're applying an unfair pressure to the guy's hand, and the only option the guy has either to break your arm or he has to hurt you so badly that you will have to jump above. But if you painkillers probably is helping that to be later than how it should be normally.
What it does do, the King's move has really clearly identified the effectiveness of pronation.
But your arm, your pronator can be like this, but your arm still can open.
Yeah, but let's say you were like Michael, okay, and you can get to a stage, because I think Michael's refined the King's move, and you can see in his later matches that he's utilizing elements of the King's move, but without going down to that sort of critical level. He's not dropping straight. He's applying it really cleanly, so it looks like a defensive top rope. Now I don't see you having a problem.
No. We are not saying different things. As long as your shoulder is not under the table, as long as you are not using your body weight as a back pressure, not with your brachyradialis or lat or something, but you just going under. More you go under, more your hand is rising up. And then you're taking the guys.
That might be a journey, though, mate. That Devon might be on that journey. You think that might be a journey, sort of an evolution process? Because certainly with Michael, it has been. Maybe we'll see Devon come up with a similar.
I'm not talking about Devon, Michael, or something. Mostly, I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is, whenever I was talking about these things, neither Michael or Devon was doing this thing, which I don't call it King's move. The King.
No, it was way back.
King, the word king should represent the best, you understand? So that is far from being a King's move or something for me. And so what I'm just saying, I'm talking generally about arm wrestling. My love and passion, about arm wrestling has, nothing to do with the Devon or the Michael or something. I quit. I'm going to finish arm wrestling. Probably I will pull Arthur Makarov. I will quit even before then if I don't see myself is not coming to that level. But it just because it is not my personal thing either. I'm just saying that I'm not going to pull anymore. But whenever I watch the arm wrestling, I want everything to be fair. I don't want only two options, like either I need to hurt the guy or break the arm. That shouldn't be option. If I am bringing somebody's arm to the 360 degree angle here, And if I'm still not the winner, then I mean something is wrong there. Something about pronation. Your arm can be pronated all the way, but it can still be open here.
Yeah,
If it is coming here, it needs to. Yeah, but just because you do this,
straight.
Yeah. So I mean, just we understand each other. This has nothing to do with Michael. It has nothing to do with Devon. It's nothing. Just no need to bring to that point. I'm not talking to you, but some people are just thinking that I like both Devon and Michael. Michael is a great arm master. I mean, he is one of the most well-rounded. He's most rounded arm master. He can do anything at the table.
Yeah,
Michael.
Michael's mega.
So yeah, I wouldn't judge him only by going under the table. So it has nothing to do. I respect him as a person.
Devon is a great arm wrestler. Devon's versatility is second to none. He can do it all.
I was coming to Devon as well. I was just going one with Michael and then Devon. Devon is also, first of all, he's the best guy about like representing arm wrestling, the best ambassador. He's doing. If arm wrestling is becoming popular, it is just like a lot of this, because of Devon. You understand? Devon is, yes, making arm wrestling. Yes. Also, he's a good guy, and he's one of the greatest arm masters, no doubt. And as we said that, about the 6 rounds super match format, probably is the best ever. So that is not. There is nothing to do with them. There's not personal thing. Like we need to keep them out of this. If you talk about only that move which you call king. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I want to say.
Right then. So let's move on into lighter weights. So the next set of people that you put out there was, in fact, why am I telling them this? You tell them this. This is your thing. So you put a series of lighter weight guys out there who you were gonna say in the middleweight divisions was your top 5. So give me that list. Let's look at that.
Whenever I look at other sports, like whenever I look at boxing, I see Mayweather. Mm-hmm. I see that this guy is a lightweight. He made $700 million, while Klitschko is one of the top super heavyweights. He used to be. He made $100 million. So it just as Americans said, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but it is the size of the fight in the dog. So that is what it matters. But whenever it is arm wrestling, we still couldn't pass that psychological level. That we are looking at. The biggest guy, best guy, with the guy with the huge biceps. Or the one who weighs the heaviest on the scale should be the best one. They need to get out. They probably judge this way. I'm not talking about the arm masters who knows what arm wrestling is, but the fans are, because they don't know much about arm wrestling. So whenever they look at it, and they are intimidated by the look, so they are just always focusing on these guys. This is the best guy. Whenever I look at the guy, other guys, like you look at also not the boxing, but the UFC. You look at Khabib versus Conor McGregor match. Yeah, I mean, it was the most exciting match, while it's the 270-kilo guys, mm-hmm. because they have quality, they have personality, they have passion. They are I don't know, the story is great. You understand? Yeah. That is why arm masters needs to pass that level, and then stop being intimidated by only the size of the bicep, but just look and learn about what the quality is, what the speed is, and then So I'm just saying that whenever I make the best arm masters, as you said, most effective, and the best arm masters are, as you said, maybe different, but if I mix them together, whenever I look at Zolev Hajimurat, 2002, he was finalist. He was 18 years old, and he was in final with the Rustam Babaev. And 2003, he won the Worlds. Until 2019, including 2019, he won the Worlds. Talking about 16 years of period. Of course, 2017 WAF, 2019 Europeans, 2009 Worlds, 2005 Europeans. He lost. Everyone loses. There is nothing. It doesn't take anything away from him. So this guy, I mean, you cannot. Maybe technically, you may not see the best ever guy. He is a very good arm master, but he's successful. We cannot really take from him, being one of the best. And then whenever I look at Cobra, whenever Cobra is a guy that, won WAF wars in 3 different decades, whenever things that, he did in Vladikavkaz, he also gave the Vaktan Yavahadze, the super heavyweight guy, who has wins against even
Yes, he did.
Alan Karev. Alan Karev, he has wins. And then Cobra is a 75-kilo guy. He
Yeah.
hang him here in the strap. And that near 200-kilo guy couldn't really pin him after like half minute. Hardly he did it. Just bring any 75-kilo guy from today and bring to 1999 Yavahadze and let him do the same thing, I'm just saying these things to the people who only sees today's arm masters, and they are saying like, oh, all is about today. The past guys were weak on this. It wasn't. They have no idea about it.
Yeah, not at all.
I have been there, but they are not. They are not. So what I'm just saying that, Cobra has some incredible wins against some of the super heavyweights from the past in North America. There's Dave Patton there. Rustam Babayev from like early 2000s. He started to win in 2002. He won till 2013. He won 2012. WAF, like 10 years period he won. He just came and then he pulled Tatachings in Poland, super match, and then he beat him like 6-0. All of the matches were quick. So Tatachings is one of the toughest guys. I would never want to pull a guy like that. The incredible side pressure, joint pressure, to do this way. And I mean, even to take his wrist is not a solution to beat this guy. And Rustam came and beat him 6-0.
He is tailor-made for Rustam, though.
What's that?
Todd is like, if you picked an opponent where Rustam's going to perform really good, Todd's the guy that you'd put in there where you'd think, yeah, Rustam's got a great chance with Todd. If you were designing somebody to beat Todd Hutchins, Rustam's your guy. He's got everything you'd need to beat him. Yeah. On paper, all the criteria, his strengths or Todd's weaknesses. He's going to go right through you at blistering speed, and he's got incredible power exactly in that area.
I think the same thing.
There's a little gap there, a window of opportunity, and Todd Hutchins is not fast.
No. Yeah. And you need to control Todd's pronator to beat him. If you don't control his pronator, taking his hand, wrist is not solution. He will still do the pressure. But if you also turn him here, and then it is more possible. You need to control, start from here. Not pulling him is not a solution. You pull him, he's gonna hit you like a train, to the sideway. And so these guys are also Prudnik, I believe. He beat Tat, in the Moldova tournament, and now I think he would also beat him. Prudnik is also one of the candidates for the future about being amongst the best ever list.
Yevgeny Prudnik is a great arm wrestler.
Yes, he get hurt from his shoulder, as I believe, in 2015 Europeans when he pulled against Spartak Zolev, and then right after that he had a super match with Tim Bresnan. So he went to US with an injured shoulder. Probably he made everything even worse. And I'm not taking away anything from Tim. Maybe he would beat him anyways, But I'm just saying that he made his shoulder even worse. So he kind of limited himself. He missed some of the best years. The guy Prudnik. So these are John. I don't even want to mention John. John is as I said, the bird is created to fly, fish is created to swim, John is created to arm wrestle. That's to me that's simple. No need to go into so many details.
Isn't it great though that the guy is in the discussion for the all-time super heavyweight, and now we're talking about middleweight, and he's right there again. I mean that says it all. If you needed anything that's why is he considered the very best, there it is, right there.
Sometimes people tells me that oh Engin, you are best guy ever or this or that. I was just so funny. I'm just don't embarrass me, just be quiet. I would put myself somewhere, but not there for sure 100%, but I don't know where. Maybe somewhere in top 10, maybe I don't know, maybe not. I don't know, but it wouldn't be nice and ethical for me to rank myself, somewhere, let others to decide this. It wouldn't be, I have my opinion, but it wouldn't be right thing to mention.
We can go into that as much as you want. The criteria for people to consider would be things like, both arms, success on both arms, tick. Success over a period of time, tick. Success across multiple weight classes, tick. Let's leave it.
And any technical ability, would it be tick or none?
Tick. Oh yeah, tick. So there's various criteria that, as I say, if we're talking about effectiveness of it. I mean, you spoke about Zolev. Left arm, not really his arm. If you measure where his success has come, is it fair to say that most of his success has come right arm, not left arm? Svetan would be the same. Most of his success right arm, not really left arm. Although, he's had some results, but not really known as a left
Cobra is the same way, right arm.
Yeah,
Cobra is the right arm. John is a little bit left arm still there, a little bit. He won even some
either.
Yeah, but he even won with some Zloty. He
could pull his left. He had good days on his left, but it was a good day or not a good day.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that put people in the conversation, and that's one of them. The other thing is, big one, depth of competition, breadth of competition. That's big. So for me, a lot of the super heavyweights, it's more difficult to make a case from because in the best possible way, there aren't that many. I mean that nicely, but there aren't that many. There are not that many mega super heavyweights. Come play in the middleweight, see how many good ones there are.
And the problem is, whenever you look at the middleweight or lightweight, you believe or not, you go to the WAF championships, you find 90% there. 90% of the best there, you find it.
Yeah,
but whenever you look at
lot of them.
Whenever you look at the super heavyweights, I mean, you find some of them in WAF, you find some of them in PAL, you go some of them in WAL, so they are divided. They are divided in they have their own game field. You understand? While that most of them you find somewhere when you talk about the light and middleweight. Just I am just thinking about a tournament. Just imagine that all these guys were competing same event, same tournament every year, like we do in the WAF. When I compete with the 100%. Russians, Georgians, Kazakhs, and Bulgarians, for example, every year there is something like WAF championships, and the same weight class, Michael is going, Devon is going, Jerry is going, and Levan is going, Gennady is going, Lalatin is going, Arif is going, some Kazakh going, and this, that, and that. 10 guys are going. Like how many could they have won? How many would they be? Like that is the competition that we are facing in the WAF championships every time we go. That is why we are. Yeah, every time I go there, I see like 2 Russians there, 2 Georgians there, 2 Kazakhs there, 2 Armenians there, 2 Big Bulgarians time. There. Yes, 2. I mean, Ukrainian, Turkish guy, and this and that. But whenever you go to the super heavyweight, they are all pulling apart from each other. They have their league there, their league there, their league. So let them all compete in somewhere, and let them get some success and show them how great they are. I mean, they are great. Don't get me wrong, they are great. But
so the mega.
The competition would be much tougher for them.
Yeah, the depth and breadth of competition in the lighter weights is definitely more. It's more significant without a shadow of a doubt. But I wanna go back a little bit here, mate, to something you said earlier on. This is quite interesting to me because, we've heard Devon say it and other people have said it. We see now Lupkus, Ron Bath, many other guys, even Bresnan. They're not spring chickens anymore. We'll see whether John comes back. But about this whole, how long will you pull? Now, you're the most obsessed arm wrestler I've ever met, in my opinion. I don't think there's anybody who's more into arm wrestling than you are, or that's ever drawn breath that's more into arm wrestling than you are, Engin. I really believe that. So, when you say to me, okay, well, I may have one more match in me against Arthur Makarov, and then I may be done. I am gutted at that, and I don't know how to take it. Now, I asked you that question at the start of the show the other day, and you said, well, I want to explain why. And I can't let this episode finish without you explaining why to people, because that, for me, was very important.
Before I answer this, I will ask you a question before I forget.
Sure.
Late 80s Richard Lupkus versus 2007-2008 Devon in a super match format. There is a possibility Lupkus to win?
Yes, there is a possibility for Lupkus to win.
Because the matches may be too quick, right? Possibly.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. So
Lupkus,
that was bugging my head. That was bugging my head. So Yeah.
We spoke about it earlier on with the Todd Hutchins Rustam thing. When any of
Mhm.
these situations occur, there is a margin of error that exists within the match, all right? And that
Mhm.
margin of error is something that your arm wrestling ability, versatility, well-roundedness can account for and take
Yeah.
advantage of. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're in a
Yeah.
situation where you are able to do that because of your well-rounded capabilities, level of strength, options available, you've got to fit that within 3 rounds, 2 rounds, whichever one you're picking. For the purpose of this, I'm saying the Arm Wars format because I was biased, so 3 rounds. Now, what I will say about Richard Lupkus and why I had him as the number one in that respect is because number one primary consideration, the most explosive super heavyweight arm wrestler I have ever seen. And I've seen them all live and in person, not on
Mhm.
tape, not live. And the effect of that hit live, what it looks like live and what it does to a great arm wrestler, you've also been watching all day. Now, if you went to Sweden in '88 and watched that hit people,
Yeah.
Rich could pull people out of their goddamn shoes. When you've been over in the US and I watched him back in the day, in late '80s, early '90s, that guy would hit people, pull them out their shoes. He hit so hard, so ferociously.
Yeah.
And it was like a double hit as well. It'd be sort of like he hit, then they'd pull a little bit out of position, and that elasticity would stop. And as soon as it stopped, it has an effect on the guy that hits, and it has the guy on the effect on the guy getting hit. And I'll tell you now, because of the fact that Richard Lupkus wasn't a trained, technically proficient arm wrestler,
Mhm.
he would have just carried on going till his arm snapped. There was no backward step. There was no adjustment period. There
Mhm.
was just,
Mhm.
I'm going that way and I'm going hard. So what happened?
Yeah.
It goes there, and then suddenly it snaps back in, and the good arm wrestler goes to adjust, and Richard Lupkus drilled their ass. And that's
Mhm.
why you see that effect, that what couple of inches, then bam, straight down like a reflex action, just whack.
I don't
That
even remember those couple of inches moving from his arm. He just goes ready, go boom.
Yeah,
It was
fine.
just too
Well,
much. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a lot of the time that's all that happened. It was just an
Yeah.
instantaneous slam, and the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah. Yeah.
frigging table shook and everything. And you'd see that on a great arm wrestler that's been hit by a lot of super heavyweights. You'd see that head nod and that holy shit look in their eyes, and they'd just walk away going, "God damn, that was ridiculous," because
Yeah.
it was a brutal finish. It wasn't a neat and tidy orthodox position. It was somebody dropped a fucking house on your arm. That's what you're
Neil,
experiencing.
do you remember the Devon was saying that arm wrestling is a disease? Yeah. Do you realize that you ask me a question, and I ask you just a simple question, how it would be? Do you realize that if I didn't cut you now, you're gonna talk half an hour about it?
Yeah. Says you.
so, so don't sound like I'm not the only guy that is not normal. You are not normal either. Just accept that.
But yeah,
You got that disease as well. You are just better at controlling.
yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I'll give you that one, mate.
Okay, let me answer your question, and then let us finish. And I would like to pull. I would like to pull everyone except probably Laletin. I'm just not Laletin, the Levan. I'm just joking. But if I had chance, I always like dream, being maybe 6'5" tall.
Mhm.
You understand? And maybe 250-pound guy. You understand? I mean, I would love. I mean, I wish I had such a build. You understand? Such a natural, build, and then that would be a bad day for the other guys. Really. Like I wish I would hunt all of them. I would just go
Mm.
and hunt all of them. What the reason I am saying this is that because in my head, like whenever I said there may be my last match, it is not because I don't have any desire to, beat this guy, that guy, but it is because I realized that, I have so much injuries and I'm kind of tired of like putting those tense, things here with the electric and doing all kind of dry needles, doing all kind of like hot and cold water, this and this. Like when I was young, it was so easy. I was just training and just going and competing, like now to bring myself to that level, just like so much price. I need to pay. Yeah, and you saw my belly. You know, I won the 65 kilo walls not even 2 years ago. Not even 2 years ago. 22 months ago. Now I'm 95 kilo. At that time, around my belly was 75 centim. Now it's 105 centim in the morning. You know, just like I gained so much. Like now, what I need to do.
Mate, if we're talking about bellies, you've come to the right place. I'm 3 inches taller, led down.
Anyway, so what I'm just saying that, you know, it's the price is so high. You know, I need to lose weight. I need to do cardio. I need to do diet. I need to take care of injuries and this. Even then, even if I pay all this price, I don't even know if I will be successful or not. You understand? And I want to pull this guy. It is kind of important for me. The Arthur is one of the greatest guys I have ever known. I still chat with him from WhatsApp. He's a very good guy. He's like, I tell him that, you know, I had a lower back injury. I couldn't even move some months ago. He's like, you know, Engin, you know, you have done, you know, all. You have nothing to prove. Just take care of your health. It's okay if you pull or not. I would pull you, but just take care of your health. The guy is just one of the nicest guy. Great man. I have no personal problem with him. But whenever I lost against him, some of the people from my own country, they were happy about it. It kind of disturbed me. You understand? It kind of disturbed me. And so my problem is not with him, but with the people that, you know, who is carrying the same citizenship with me, but it's just kind of that we're happy that I kind of just, it kind of motivates me. Yeah, the hate. So I will just try to do one more time. If I can, I can. If I cannot, because I'm not an ignorant guy. I know what it takes to beat him. The first match, the reason that, you know, because I never thought that he would pull me. I only prepare for my pronator. I thought he was gonna go hook. If he would have gone to hook only 5 rounds in a row, I would beat him 5-0. But once he pulled his elbow, he stretches my wrist. I didn't train for 2 months against any top roller, and then it was too much, and I didn't have endurance there, and he was better. But this time I am mostly trying to train for my wrist, because I feel like if I control his pronator, then I will be able to take his wrist as well, you know. So I will prepare myself like I prepare for Mindaugas. So I want to try one more time. And then if I see myself physically, you know, good enough to pull him, because I have some numbers, right? On weight, you do pull up with extra weight, you do pronated. Yeah, if I see myself that level, I will pull him one more time, and then I will see. I will probably then quit, but I will just continue train as for arm wrestling without any goal. Because if I put a goal, I'm pushing myself and I'm getting injured as well. So I need to just setting.
You know, my honest answer on that would be only this, mate. Only this. Don't ever let negativity from people who don't really know you, whatever their motivation may or may not be, don't let them rob you of you. Don't let that happen, Engin. Because you are arm wrestling. You are arm wrestling. That's what you do. More so than anybody I've ever met. So don't let negativity or commentary from anyone about you rob you of who you are. That would be a mistake.
I don't know if it's a mistake or if it gives me the motivation. Because I like to win and look at their face. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I want to beat Arthur. After I beat him, if I can, if I pull him and if I beat him, I will hug him. I will lift his arm and I will just say that he's a great guy. All the respect to him.
Mate,
nothing at all.
Give him a good match. You still iron. You know what I mean? If you show up and you give him a good match,
from your perspective, yes. From the perspective was this crazy Turk. No, I need to win.
Yeah, I know.
So that was my question. But if I continue arm wrestling, as I said, you know, you are thinking that I would be continuing even when I was 70. I will never be an average guy. I will either hit for the top or quit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's my answer.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
Yep.
It'd be a sad day if you walked away from the arm wrestling table. It really would. But
Always a pleasure to talk with you. Do
mate,
you
it
remember
won't the last
last time you
We're
were
only
doing
warming up.
the radio program? You were making radio program, and then you said that, Engin, we will do 135 minutes, and then if possible, we will try to do the second one, but we will be out of subject to talk. And then we did 135 minutes, and the second one was you had to cut it on 45 minutes because we were still going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
difficult. We're trying to keep everybody says, I'm only learning this game. I'm a bum at doing YouTube. But people say, oh yeah, you don't make it too long because everybody will lose interest. So I'm trying to keep it keep it to
Yep.
a viable level, but we could go on
Yep.
and on, mate. Guys,
Yes.
we are at 55 minutes. So hopefully you're all still with us. And hopefully you enjoyed the episode. I know I did. Great to have you on here, Engin. Absolutely love it,
Thank
mate.
you. Thank you.
We're not gonna put this in the Engin Terzi series because this
No,
wasn't really about Engin's career. This was just
find a different title.
just talking arm wrestling for a bit, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yep.
If this is your first visit to the Supernatural Strength channel, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Please tell everybody about us. We're a small channel. We're just growing, trying to find a feet in this world, and we like talking about arm wrestling. That's what it's all about. And crazy times out there. I hope you and your families are all safe. We'll be back on here with Engin, with many other guests very soon. Hope you like the show, and until we see you next time, take it easy, peeps.